Caviar Dreamers.
Hi, Caviar Dreamers. We have a great show today.
We do. We have amazing women who created a product out of a need in an industry that, yet again, doesn't cater to women all the way through their lifespan the way we live now.
Exactly.
The shoe industry.
Shoes, first of all, have gotten super, super expensive. When did it become normal for shoes to be like $1,100? Louboutin's $1,500. Everything has gotten so expensive. I mean, I get in shoe shock.
And then I was looking at shoes this weekend, and obviously, like all industries, there's great knockoff industries, but none of these fast fashion places that carry like $150 shoes have a solid, great, well-made shoe made of leather. Do you know how hard it is to find a shoe made of leather?
A lot of the shoes that are replicas are not real leather.
No, and I don't like that. I don't want my feet to be sweated in plastic.
No, either do I.
To invest in a good, solid shoe.
I love a good, solid shoe.
But still be sexy.
Exactly. I mean, I'm one of the rare women who can still teeter in heels, though.
Yes, you really are. I do still like a good heel. I'm not sure how I'm going to wedge myself back in after COVID. And we have the creators of F.Major on today.
Jen Fessler and Shari Friedman.
Yes.
And I'm friends with Jen Fessler. I know her through some weird things.
Yes.
Originally from an ex-castmate, the Siggy, which, thank God she's known for bad shoes. So
Jen, thank God, makes good shoes.
Thank God Jen makes good shoes.
And now you're good friends.
And now we're good friends.
So we're all good.
Yes.
In the hood.
We're all good in the hood. And so I am so excited to have them on because seriously, they came up with this company. It's really just two shoe styles, sexy pumps, 3 inches high, very comfortable. They come in wides, patent leather and regular leather, beautiful shoes. So here we have them. Okay, I'm so excited. We have on Jen Fessler and Shari Friedman from F.Major.
And they are Major. They are F.Major.
They are F.Major with their new shoe line. And they just have 2 styles. So I'm just so excited that you guys are on because you two joined forces together and came up with this amazing company that's so needed in the market. So let's just talk about it because you only have 2 fabulous pumps, really, a patent leather and a regular leather shoe.
And I have one right here.
Yeah. I know, which is, it's a sexy shoe. So tell us how you got started.
So first of all, we are not shoe designers. So let's just say that, right?
Yes.
So this company was born really out of a need. I think like most, successful companies are. You see like a hole in the market or something that you want or need. I had been in Manhattan. I live in northern New Jersey, like you, Marge.
Yes.
And in Manhattan with a friend, our daughters are the same age, celebrating one of the girls' birthdays. Went to Tao, we're walking out, and I'm walking on the streets of Manhattan barefoot because I just couldn't bear it anymore. Excuse me.
Yes.
So I'm walking on the streets of Manhattan trying to avoid, needles and God knows what else. So whatever. I had another event the next weekend, and I sort of had this like complete aha moment. Like I can't do heels anymore like this. I just can't bear it. I was, at that point, I guess I was 49.
Uh-huh.
My feet, you get older and your feet change. It's just like every other part of your body, right? Shit gets softer and wider, not for everyone, but certainly for me and many, many of my friends. So,
of course.
Right, I had to get a pair of shoes to wear with this hot outfit I put together for this event I had the following weekend. I went online and I just, Googled designer heels that are comfortable. Designer heels for women with wide feet. And what came up was like, picture Viox and back in the, like picture like an Easy Spirit back in the day, okay?
Yeah.
Like shoes that
not good.
Would not be caught dead in, right? Clunky, matronly, and the shoes that actually we do have some competition, but they don't, nothing that I could even find really. And the branding was sort of like geared towards an older woman and towards this boring sort of like, here's a shoe for you, lady, do what you have to do.
Yeah, somebody that wasn't fashionable.
Thank you. I took my little self to Neiman's and I said to the lady, listen, all I want is one pair of black 3-inch heels. Black 3-inch designer heels, okay? I have wide feet, anything that I can just like get through the night in. They don't have to have red bottoms. They don't have to have rhinestones, something that I can wear with everything. And by the way, I'm 50, so I have the money to pay for them. So this woman's like, listen, designers don't make these heels in wide, okay? But what you have to do is you have to size up. So I'm like, okay, I'm an 11.
Yeah, and how
I mean, I'm a 10.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine. So bring me every 11 you have. I want every pair of black 3-inch pump in 11 that you've got. So as you can imagine, I'm walking around, shoving my foot, by the way. It doesn't matter if it's an 11, if it's still this narrow.
Yes, if it's narrow.
Right? And I'm walking on the carpet of Neiman Marcus, and my heel is coming out of the shoe. And I'm like, I don't get it. So this woman says to me, no, honey, you need to learn to walk in these shoes, in shoes that are bigger. And I'm like, bitch, I'm 50.
Exactly. Why would you have to relearn to walk, right?
What? Say what? I'm like, this is ridiculous. And sort of, I went home and just with this frustration and feeling really like the high heel shoe industry does not give a shit about me. Like the beauty industry, I mean, I don't know that when I was 20, I had the money to pay for Botox and fillers and lasers and tummy tucks. Not that I have, my husband would tell you I still don't have the money to pay for all of those things. Having said that, but the fitness industry, I can afford a personal trainer, let's say. Even the clothing industry, the fashion industry, I have now money that I didn't have.
Yeah, of course. And you need a comfortable pair of shoes that look good.
And they don't give two shits about my money. Like, I don't even know, I can't give them my money to make me a pair of shoes that I can walk in. Again, one pair of black heels that I could wear with jeans, that I could wear to an affair with a gown, that I can wear to work. So hooked up with a shoe person. And I'm not this is my first try at being
So how did you know, like, what did you do? Did you Google? Like, so many people don't know where to get started. I think everybody who listens to this, like, well, how did Jennifer and Shari figure this out? Like, how did they know? Did you just like Google? Were you like, oh my God, I'm going to start here. I'm just going to Google a shoe manufacturer. What am I doing?
So first of all, I did not know what I was doing. I had no idea, but that is sort of linked to hooking up with my best friend. But I will tell you that starting out, I knew a guy who was a neighbor and who had been in the shoe industry his whole life. He had worked in manufacturing. So he hooked me up with, I met a lot of people, right? And I did not know what I was doing. I mean, Google how to start a shoe company. It was all, look, let's see. Let's just throw some shit against the wall and, see what sticks. So I found this guy after lots and lots of sort of looking and talking to people, and why don't we have technology that actually enables a shoe to still look sleek and thin and sexy? Learned that what all comfort shoe manufacturers do is they picture like a Dr. Scholl's insole, okay? And they shove it into the shoe. And so it creates a cushion, right, around your foot. But as a result, you have this big clunky shoe, usually with a round toe, because it looks like a boat, right? You have to put your foot in something lined. Okay. So I just talked to a lot of shoe people, and like everything else in this world, it's networking. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And I'm not Margaret Josephs, but I definitely have sort of like an outgoing personality.
You have an absolutely outgoing personality, and I think you connected yourself with a lot of great people.
I did. And I found somebody, a guy in Spain who basically like looks the part. He's like this, he looks like a cobbler, but everybody in this town of Alicante, Spain is in shoes. His great-great-grandfather, and now his son and they all do shoes, and they do it for big designers, right? He had this technology. We looked at a lot of different ones. This was the one.
Did you have to get on a plane?
I did not have to get on a plane. He got on a plane.
Oh, that was perfect.
And the plan was, of course, now we have like factory in Spain, and then COVID hit, but that's a whole other subject. So now I had something, right? And I had, so I had a prototype, and I had, the ability to sort of talk to what makes a shoe comfortable. But there's so much. So Shari is my best friend from Boston University. So we go way back. I actually transferred. I graduated from University of Texas. So I was in Los Angeles looking for a marketing agency and a branding agency. And my husband knew someone, whatever. And it's my best friend. So of course I stayed with her. And she's very busy. At that point, she was like working for Snapchat. And I just sort of begged. I was like, listen, you have all of this experience in digital marketing. She's very, very smart. She is not only very, very smart, but has the same problem that I have, right? Like her frustration, she understood.
My feet hurt too. Not to the point where I'm walking the streets of Manhattan barefoot at night, or in my case, Los Angeles at night. But honestly, the truth is there really isn't anybody that we've encountered who can't relate to the story of the love-hate relationship with heels. But go on, Jen.
Well, no, Shari so we sat down and had coffee, and I was telling her about this experience that I had interviewing this agency, and I was like ready to hire them because, again, what did I know?
Of course.
I was like, they were great. They were so nice to me, first of all, and they all seemed to really get it. And they had lunch there for me. And so I'm about to sign this contract.
Yeah, people offer food. You definitely want to sign a deal. Yeah. That's what I always say. If they feed me, I give them everything.
Amen. So I'm about to sign this contract, and Shari's like, you better slow your roll. Like, she started looking at this company. She's like, first of all, they don't have any D2C startup experience. To me, they were so flashy and pretty, and I saw the products that they had marketed and things so at which point I'm like, oh. And so she, in typical Shari form, she started looking at things in this way, in this very sort of analytical way that I just didn't and don't. And I was like, you have to. I had to beg her, of course, because she's a whole big life in Los Angeles. But after some serious begging, I said, you have to partner with me. I need a partner. I cannot do this alone. There's so much that I don't know. And I'm smart enough to know that I don't know a lot. And that
I think that's a good piece of advice, because I think a lot of people always think that they could do everything, but you have to be smart enough. I think that's the biggest piece of business advice, is be smart enough to know what you don't know and get someone on board who has the opposite skill set. And I guess, Shari, that's you.
I think we complement each other nicely in that way, but I think Jen is underselling herself. While she doesn't necessarily have the career experience, perhaps in digital marketing, once we started talking about the need to, further identify who the right agency and the appropriate next steps for us and what that all looked like, she came around and got it pretty quickly. And really, the purpose of that exercise, and maybe not signing with the first agency and taking a beat, was, it was twofold. Yes, we wanted to look at other agencies and maybe find one that we felt was more experienced in our particular category. But also, Jen, as she said, had done this very deep dive online to try to find a shoe that met her needs and couldn't find one. But there was a need for us to really take that further and really do this deep competitive dive / research analysis and really understand truly what that hole in the marketplace looked like. And so, not to, bury this podcast with all kinds of marketing terms and research data.
No, but I think people are interested.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, all of Jen's initial thoughts and this hole that she felt in the marketplace and this feeling of being left behind by the shoe industry, based on all of the research we were doing and in association with a research firm that we hired, was all proving to be true. And it was just remarkable to us how hard it was to find brands that really put themselves out there online, that were selling shoes that we as self-proclaimed fashionistas, but also women of a certain age, would find interesting and appealing to us and could actually get us through the night. And that shoe did not exist, number one. And number two, brands that once we really, really, really dug deep online, deeper than any average or above average consumer would do, we did start to pull some competitors out of the woodwork that Jen, on an average search query, had not turned up. But even when we pulled up those competitors, we were so unimpressed with what they were doing. Even if it was a shoe we might wear, we couldn't find any other shoe, if it wasn't quite to our aesthetic liking, their brand identity and the way in which they were relating to consumers and what they were, the message that they were standing for, did not strike us, was not relatable to us. And it was just, that's how you find great brands in your life. Like, yes, the product ultimately has to work for you, but something has to draw you to it in the first place. And so for me, I do have a digital marketing background, but before there was digital marketing, there was plain old marketing.
Yes.
And to me, that was one of the biggest opportunities in this entire endeavor, was to really drill down, find that hole in the market, and start talking to consumers and women like us in a way that no other brand was doing, and really create in the industry, this particular niche industry, to find a way to do what, like Jen and I was talking about, Spanx and what they did in their industry. And
I talk about it all the time. Sarah Blakely is unbelievable.
And they took basically a girdle, what ultimately became a girdle, although it was launched for other reasons, right, to hide panty lines. And then it morphed into like the sexy, cool girdle and became a household name and the go-to solution for if any of us who are at dinner with our friends, right, and needed a solution for, holding in our whatever or hiding panty lines. We unanimously would all say Spanx, right?
Yes.
And nothing like that existed in our particular industry, despite it being a problem that all of us have. And so once again, to me, that was like a humongous opportunity to really piggyback on this product and this technology that Jen had already, she was already on a roll with it, but to take the marketing and the messaging to the next level was a huge opportunity. And so we did some consumer focused research, and then we really did a deep agency search and went out to all the different agencies that represented brands that we as consumers were fond of, because I think that's how you ultimately find, a brand that you feel is going to represent, a company that's going to represent your brand adequately. They have to have done work or stand for brands that you love and can identify with. So many months later,
yes,
here we are, lots of consumer research under our belt, focus groups, really identifying exactly.
How many people did you use in your focus group?
We used like 25 people in our focus group.
What age group?
They were 30 to 60. Actually, about 25 to 60.
That's a great cross section of women.
Well, I will jump in and say it's funny because, so it is a great cross section, and my daughter is 18 and she wears these all the time, right? She has her frat parties or her formals or whatever, and she loves them. Having said that, we have, we appeal to, I think, a huge sort of, cross section, but we were told from the beginning, which is I think it's so interesting, don't talk about age. So even, Shari's talking about the branding, and if you look at some of the branding for our quote unquote competition, right? It's for maybe an older woman, supposedly, without ever saying it. Everyone is so scared to say, women's feet change. But 50 today, I'm 52, is not my mother's 52.
No.
Okay, well, yours maybe, because your mother's like 50 now or something.
Yeah, my mother's delusional. Yeah, she's aging backwards.
Okay, but my mother's, she was not like me at age, because she didn't have the ability to be. She didn't have Botox. It wasn't like keratin for your head. I mean, you did the best you could. And also there wasn't even, there wasn't even like the idea that women could be sexy at 50 back then. She was like packing it up, right?
I know exactly what you're saying. It's absolutely true.
But that's why a brand like yours is also so important, because there is this industry standard that it's like, we're not catering to you. You passed, this is the point where you turn it in, you go to aerosols, and you just put those little feet up and something comfortable. And that's not the way it should be. The marketplace has to change.
So yes, exactly. So F.Major is going to make a major splash. How long have you guys been in business at this point?
It's a very good question. So we were ready to launch right before COVID.
I know, which really sucked the life out of so many things.
We had been working on it for a couple of years, and it was finally time. And we are ready to launch our 3-inch, little black dress. And all of a sudden there's a shutdown. So we assumed that nobody wanted a black high heel while they were marching around their house. So that everything, obviously, like everybody else, we got completely shut down. And we literally had like all the shoes ready to be shipped from Spain to our factory here. And so we just literally pulled the plug, so to speak, about what, Shar, like a month and a half ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So everybody had a pivot, and now that the world is open, so this is very, very, very exciting. I feel like there's a need for it. It's great. We got to get it on everybody's feet. F.Major, what is the price point?
So the price point is it's $300 shoe. Let me tell you that this was modeled after an $800 product. So the guy that I work with in Spain said to me, okay, Jennifer, what do you want? I said, I need a black pump that looks like this. And it was just a classic black Prada, I don't know, $800 and something. He created the same thing for all intents and purposes. It's a little bit, the heel's a little different for comfort, right? The leather is a little softer. So there's all of these little adjustments. So $300 is the price point. By the way, let me say to any and all of your listeners, if you do go to www.shopfmajor.com and use the coupon code The Marge,
I'm gonna do a swipe up also, because if you look at it, it's like if you wear these shoes all the time, it's like less than $1 a day. That's
exactly right. You get 20% off. So, but again, that's also the point. And I hate to keep hammering it, but it's the little black dress of shoes. You have to have a pair
of good black shoes. And shoes are an investment. And I always say that to people. It's not shoes. Everyone always looks at shoes. You have to own a good pair of shoes, because if you take care of them, they last you forever. And shoes are an investment piece. And I always say that, and especially comfortable shoes are an investment piece. And I think that's super, super important. So F.Major, we're starting here with the patent leather and the black shoe. Would you ever, like 2 years from now, branch out into other colors?
Yes, I'll say that quickly. Let me say to you that I actually we're already envisioning the next will be a nude. Because just, again, we're very, at age 52, you become a little more practical. Not in all areas, right? But like Shari and I both, like if you look at our closets now, compared to when we were 20, even though we have, let's say, the money to, everything in my closet, I wear. When I was 20, I just like the look of the boxes with the designer names. They should line my closet. I don't want any of that. I want what I wear. What I go into my closet. I'm not into clutter. I don't need to prove anything. I want what makes sense. So we are making shoes that are hot as shit and sexy, and that we wear. Listen, I would love to wear. I know, Marge, you're a heel woman.
I am that. I think that unicorn that could still wear very high heels, and my feet don't kill me, right?
Yeah, you wear towering.
I wear towering high heels, but believe me, no one's like me. All my friends, everybody complains about their feet and their heels and everything else.
Well, especially after COVID, because no one's been wearing.
That is heels. True. After COVID,
this is like a great time for you guys, because everyone who even did wear like 4.5 inch, 5 inch heels is well out of practice at this point. Yep. That's going to be a stinger trying to get those on.
Not to put any kind of a God knows positive spin on COVID, but we were able to sort of. It made our product make sense now, right? Like you learned the value of comfort, and you want to get the hell out of your house. So
and you want to look good. No one wants to look like crap. And I always judge people by their shoes. I'm not going to lie. I hate crappy shoes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I do. I have a rage if someone has bad
crappy
shoes on.
Shoes are so inexpensive these days. Like if you go for a fashion pair of like pumps, an average pair of pumps at like a very average mall store is still costing you $129, $149, $169.
Yeah, and they're not quality. So it's better for someone to and someone should invest in a good pair of shoes that last them. And I think that's really what it is. And I try and always say that it's quality over quantity.
100%. We also make shoes from size 5 to 12 in wides. So not just wides, in medium and wide. So
which is important, because so many great designer brands don't do a wide.
You even if they say that they do, it's really interesting. Just I think you're a little busy, Marge, but for anyone out there, do a little experiment and go to a Stuart Weitzman, let's say, and they say that they have wide. So you want to order, you go on there and you order a 10 wide. They will be out of stock. I'm not saying that I'll be wrong. Somebody will do it and they'll get it. But we did so much of that, right? We went to so many different brands that claim that they do wide, and you couldn't get them. It's
Yeah,
like,
so you think they're full.
not-
You basically think they're full of shit. They're saying they do wide, but it's always out of stock.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So,
very
I mean,
suspicious.
yeah, it is. And your feet widen as you age. It's a fact. Your ears grow, your feet widen, all these.
I don't know. I don't like that ear thing, but it
No,
is true
I
because
need
my
to get
mother,
that
when
in.
she had her facelift, had to have her earlobes reduced.
She did.
And it was
she's
Well,
doing it again.
And she's
FYI,
doing
not
them
for
again.
nothing. I'll just give a little free tip here for your
Yes.
listeners. My ears, they started to sag where you put the earring, like, where it pulls down.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh.
Just ask your esthetician to put a little filler in it, and all of a sudden, the earring sits much better.
Oh, that's good. You got to chubby up the lobes.
Yeah, just a little freebie from me to you and your listeners.
Oh, I love that. That's so
a good
good.
idea.
So we ask everybody who comes on the show, because we always say we have real advice, not like get a business plan, not do this. What's your most entrepreneur real advice?
I love that. Well, I will tell you that one of our serious value propositions is about being real, right? For instance, we're not saying our shoes are 3-inch heels. They're not sneakers. We're not gonna like Easy Spirit used to run those ads. I don't know if everybody will know who Easy Spirit was, of like women playing basketball in heels.
Yes.
At the end of the night, like you'll be able to get through the cocktail hour and the reception, but when you get home, you'll be fine taking off your heels. It's not like you're gonna want to, they're still heels. Honesty, but in terms of our own like advice, I mean, Shari, do you have anything? I think of a few things. Do you have anything specific that you would say is real?
I think you guys hit on one earlier that I think is really important, and I've always abided by in all areas of my life, not just this entrepreneurism, and that is just knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are and surrounding yourself with good people who complement you. And that's why Jen and I work well together. I'm certainly not an expert in most things, if anything, but Jen compliments me in ways that I certainly could never bring to the table. We have our we call him our shoe guy, but we have our point of contact in Spain who oversees our manufacturing, and he's been with Jen. He even predates me in this in this company, but just and we don't know shoe manufacturing and he does, and just always just sort of not being afraid to, being okay with what you don't know, and getting through your head that I always want to surround myself with people who are smarter than I am, basically.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I always try to live that way. And it's a very hard pill for some people to swallow, and ultimately the key to success.
Yeah, I think people get intimidated by that, and it's ridiculous because you want to be around smarter people, because how are you going to learn if you're not?
And not knowing things is not a negative in life. It shouldn't shut you down. You should see it as an opportunity. And I think a lot of people don't.
Oh yeah, it totally, for me, especially at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
the insecurity that comes with not knowing and making a fool of yourself. And if I ask this question, they can think I'm a complete idiot, right? So I had to sort of take on, okay, I'm an idiot, but anyway, I need this information.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask you, and pushing past that, whatever comes in your ego and all of that to get what you need, right? And that's not an easy, believe me, that's not something that's easy to do, right? Nobody likes to sound stupid or look stupid. And also, I think that also, as new entrepreneurs, we were very afraid at the beginning of, everybody had to sign a non-disclosure, which I believe in. We stand by that. But I do think, we didn't want to give away the secret. And if you think about it, we already had a connection in Spain and a shoe. That was comfort with technology. Don't be afraid to talk to people, right? Don't be afraid of getting robbed so quickly. You need.
I know no one wants to share their idea. They get very afraid. I'm just like, make someone sign an NDA.
And then you have to talk about it. You got to be open about it. And now, there's so many different, I think, Margaret, you're on it, but like even now I'm learning stuff. I'm on Clubhouse.
Yes, on the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Right? You should be running rooms in Clubhouse. But anyway, it's all about
it's amazing, and I love it because you could talk to the highest level of people. I mean, it's absolutely like Damon John is on there. So many great people around there. You could just slip into any room. But I mean, it's a lot of work. Sometimes I accidentally go on Clubhouse. I'm in a weird conversation. My phone would turn on to Clubhouse. And all of a sudden I'm in a room like, hey, Marge. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm on Clubhouse. And I'm like, talking about nonsense in my bed. I was like, okay, I got to this is crazy. My phone accidentally turns on.
They're like thrilled Margaret Joseph's on. Me, they're like, mute that bitch.
No. It's just very, very funny. I'm just like, then I get mortified and they're like, leave quietly. I'm like, whoop. Right, Lex?
Yeah, my phone comes on by itself when Clubhouse is on. I think something very strange is going on.
Yes, Clubhouse wants to listen to your gossip, right, Jen?
But I just bring it up as like anything that will tell me stuff, right? Any avenue that will give me information in terms of growing my business. Any person, any opinion. I'm really good at taking criticism. I mean, I criticize myself more than anyone else does, but constructive criticism, I don't care, bring it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't good at that, and I think that's important for everybody to hear. People have to be able to take constructive criticism. Everybody takes things so personally. It's about business. It's not a personal attack, but you have to be able to hear it.
Yes.
I think people have a hard time hearing things like that.
It could also save you from a tremendous business disaster.
Yes.
If you really listen to people's feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is hard. Yeah. So we always say the Marge's success is accredited to her being 50% delusion to 50% determination.
Yes.
So what would you say your percentages are?
50% delusion and 50% determination. I don't know. I mean, that's it. That's what Marge used. That's what I want to use.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think that for me, this is when Shari and I, again, sort of complement each other. So I'm like a dreamer, right? And and I think things should happen immediately, right? Like, I don't know why Oprah's not knocking. I don't understand why we've been at this for 6 weeks. Where is Oprah, right? So I'm like a bit delusional, and we're both determined, I have to say, but Shari is like this. She's very single, she's focused, right? And
that's
she's not worried about Oprah. She's worried about, we have to get out, like this is the next step with the email mark. This is the next step. We have to talk about our social. And I'm sort of like, so then she brings me, down off of my, out of the clouds, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I have to do something. Oprah's not just gonna come knocking tomorrow. So I think you're right. I think it's like, you have to also be a dreamer, right? You can't just be, practical.
I agree. Yeah, because if you don't believe your own hype, who else will? That's what I always say. I always say delusional is not a bad thing. Sometimes when I ask people on this, everyone's like, oh, I'm not delusional. I'm 100% determined. I'm like, you have to be a little delusional or you wouldn't jump into it.
I agree 100%, right, Shari? I mean, I'm definitely the dreamer. I'm like out of my mind half the time.
Yeah. I mean, and the idea, someone has to be the dreamer for, a lot of times for the idea to be born. Like without Jen taking that leap of faith. I mean, I am the more practical. I am a little more like business minded and let's make a plan. But, I don't know that I would have hatched, the idea and taken the leap out of a career that I was, that I was comfortable in. And basically it was the only thing I knew from a career standpoint, and taken the leap into doing something completely new without, Jen sort of like trailblazing and leading the way on that, because she is the dreamer and she thinks that way. And then once that plan was sort of out there, thanks to Jen, it was sort of easy for me to bring in what I do best and sort of it's not like the voice of reason, but as Jen said, I like to take her big ideas and then lay them out and from a more, planned and strategic standpoint and see how we can bring them to reality.
Yes.
And once again, it's just part of what works well. But I do like to plan, and I do like to,
No idea. She's saying that like she likes to plan.
I know. That's so funny. I know. I'm not a good planner. I'm like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, da 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 da.
I'm like, whoa.
I know. Let's just like, yeah, we're showing up. I'm just like, yeah, same thing. I just like show up. I'm like, tell me where I got to be. What do I got to do? I'm doing this. I'm like nuts. I don't even know how it happens, but I
kids do. I don't know how I raise my kids. I have no idea. Every day was like, wait, I have to pack a lunch. Say what? Wait, what do I have to do?
I know. I'm with you. I totally get it. Now we always say, what was your big girl panty moment? Like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to pull up my big girl panties. It's a sink or swim set moment.
I mean,
one thing I would say, I mean, this maybe is a little cliche at this point, was really, really figuring out how to manage our business and what to do with our business in the face of COVID, because it was the first major challenge and hurdle that we faced. And not because it just created a delay in the launch of our business, but it changed a lot of things. I mean, it changed the investment community landscape, our ability to, what we thought was going to be not an easy fundraise, but, certainly far less challenging than fundraising has proven to be.
Yes.
As a result of COVID and, investors just being a little more skittish about, where their money is going. And even though we on this call all get how important our product is to women like us in the market post-COVID, it can be hard to convince an investor at this point that a high heel shoe is a must buy, even for, the most fashion conscious women, a comfortable high heel shoe. And so what all of that forced us to do was, for the first time, really have to pivot and rethink, especially for me, what had been a plan that we had laid out with precision. And, it did cause us to really confront a new reality and rethink how we were going to spend money and rethink how and what our launch was going to look like. And it was an important exercise and a valuable one, like I said, because we had just been going through the motions up until that point. Like, we're going to do this is going to happen. We're going to launch our branding's going to be done. We're going to launch in May, and we're going to sell shoes because everyone wants a high heel shoe, and we're going to raise money in June. And, by December we'll be on Oprah's favorite things list. And because of COVID, if there are silver linings that you want to pull out of this experience, it was a great dose of reality in one sense, and a really great exercise in terms of making sure that we know that there's going to be times in our lives where we're going to have to pivot hard on the business, and that things don't always go as planned.
Yeah.
Question. Yeah, did you send to Oprah yet?
Not yet.
No, we're just getting started on our PR efforts this month. Oprah is somebody who, like, you read so much about how even pre-COVID, right? Like, people are shifting away from heels and, designer sneakers and more comfortable footwear. And so Jen and I, like, our eyes are 24/7 peeled, especially for like high profile women. And we'll see them be like, Oprah still wears heels. And we hone in on it.
Well,
and we do have a
Gail. You should send to Gail King, because then I'll get to Oprah. I mean, you have to
you should send to all the people on, like, all the women newscasters, news anchors, morning show anchors.
Exactly.
Because those
I'm always looking at them.
You have to get us. But I think, like, you guys are definitely hitting on something. It's just got to get to the right people. And I think the main thing is you got to send these shoes to every high profile person. It's really about getting it in everybody's hands who's going to wear it. Because that's really where the attention's going to come from. Well, F.Major, Shari, and Jen, I am so happy you guys came on. Your story's so inspiring. Tell everybody where they could find you.
www.shopfmajor.com.
Okay,
so
and your Instagram too? And it's in your Insta?
Shop F.Major.
Shop F.Major. And on Insta, it's Shop F.Major as well.
Correct.
Got it. That's so amazing. Well, we wish you much success. We know it's going to be a big hit.
You guys, we appreciate you so much. I mean, you talk in the book, Marge, about what a mentor is and how important it was, and you find mentors even at whatever stage you're in. But having another woman who actually cares enough to want to help is, first of all, it's rare. I'm sorry to say it, at least in my experience.
No, you're right. And that's sad. I like women to help each other because it's important. It's important for us all to help each other and lift each other up.
So your new role besides housewife is now mentor.
Okay, but I'm in. All right. Thank you guys so much.
the girls were great, and they really have a great product. And I believe that they could really make a difference in an industry to actual women's lives.
I absolutely agree. They have to get the shoes on the right people. They're hustling. It launched before COVID. Now they've pivoted, and they're really going to make a splash in the shoe industry.
They are. Listen, I am no stranger to walking through the streets with no shoes on.
I mean, listen, it is true. When I get in the car, I take my shoes off right away.
I've walked through the streets of Manhattan with no shoes on. The streets of Montauk. I've walked through the streets of everywhere with no shoes on. When they get to like Vernon, the little dogs are barking, little trotters.
Your little trotters. Well, listen, my little pigs get swollen. I'm not going to say they don't get swollen.
Well, no more. They are solving that
exactly.
problem.
So I'm super excited for them. They were great. And they had a lot of amazing business advice for people just starting out. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to look stupid. Ask tons of questions. Surround yourself with smarter people.
It's also, I love, don't accept that, you know, there's nothing for you in the marketplace. Create your own thing. Like,
it's true.
You know, we need more trailblazers going out there.
Not different than Katie Storino.
Exactly.
I love it. Women take the bull by the horns.
Oh, look at Cindy Basha. People, you know, on Instagram, they take down things that discuss like female issues at a certain age. You know, now I'm 40. I'm realizing.
Oh, are you 40?
I'm 40, and I'm realizing like, fuck the industry, fuck all this shit where all of a sudden you're supposed to like not
shrivel up and die.
Yeah, I'm not taking that.
We're not going to stay in the house. We're going to be out and about.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there having orgasms in comfortable shoes and without my thighs chafing. But no, they are amazing girls. And also, you're going to put the information up on Instagram.
I'm going to put the information up on Instagram. F.Major, a fabulous company. We're giving you a discount, the Marge, 20% off. So buy a good pair of shoes. Shoes take you great places. Good shoes take you great places. So F.Major.
So join us every week on a Wednesday at Caviar Dreams, Tuna Fish Budget on everywhere you find your podcasts. I mean, podcasts are everywhere, so you better find
yes.
Spotify.
We're
Amazon, Apple,
it's
everywhere.
like, where are we? The Marge is under your skin. So just
we're
infiltrating your brain. And the other thing is, I'm going to be in the Mid-Atlantic states this week. Delaware, I'm coming for you, and DC.
Ooh,
Delaware and DC, the double Ds.
What? She's bringing the double Ds.
I'm bringing the double Ds.
So everyone have a great week. Keep dreaming and stay inspired.
Yeah, stay inspired, Caviar Dreamers. Love you all.